What's good with y'all? You know what it is. It's your boy, the chosen one, God's chosen son. And it's what's today? It's Wednesday, ain't it? It's a good little Wednesday, man. All praises to the Most High that we get to see another day. Coming out straight up out of the bed head. We're gonna get this together for y'all, man. Get the trim and whatnot at some point. Be a bit more presentable for these videos, but you know it is what it is. Let's talk about friends. Let's talk about friendship. Let's talk about inner circles. Let's talk about family members, and let's talk about relationships between people and why it's so important to. What am I thinking about? Why it's so important? I froze, right? Why it's so important to keep good people in your corner, right? You know the saying goes, bad communication corrupts good manners, right? So I want to start off by saying none of us are above being influenced by people. If you hang around killers, you're going to be influenced to go kill somebody. If you hang around people who smoke all day, you're going to be influenced one day to smoke. If you hang around people who spread negativity, you're going to become a gossiper. Same goes if you hang around people who seek knowledge, you're going to seek knowledge. If you hang around people who want to be millionaires and practice, taking financial advice and making investments, you're going to do the same, right? It's really simple math. A lot of the times we think ourselves higher than we really are. We be having that pride, man, and we got to let that pride go. We got to bend our knee to something greater than us, because these topics and principles is spoken of in the Bible. That's God's word. So we know that his word is law. So when he tell us to do something, we should do it. When he tell us not to do something, we should do it. Why? Because what ends up happening is exactly what he said would happen. Bad communication corrupts good manners. You could be the most well brought up person in the world, right? Had a mom and dad. They taught you well, got a good head on your shoulders, smart, and all of this type of stuff. But if you running with the wrong crowd, if you taking the wrong things in, it's going to influence you and it's going to bring about imminent destruction. With that being said, it's important to seek out good fellowship, and it's also important to understand when good people are in your corner already, because we live in a time frame where a lot of people, they squander good people in their corner. I say I got a line in one of my new songs I ain't put out. We get into the music. We're gonna be putting the music out again. But yeah, I got a line in one of the new songs that says, "Better to heed than proceed by the fire." Well, what does that mean? What does it mean to walk through the fire? To walk through the fire means to physically go through something and have to get burned to learn from it. But we have people, this is the beauty of having like predecessors, people that come before us, and even living amongst other people. Other people usually walk through other people usually walk through the fire before us. Therefore, we can take heed to their words and save ourselves that grief, right? So with that being said, that doesn't mean we not gonna have to walk through the fire of our own lives and go through stuff, because sometimes you got to go through stuff to experience it and truly understand. But at the end of the day, for a lot of what we face, is already stuff that's been said to not do. It's the simple analogy of, if your parents, they tell you not to touch that stove, right? You could not touch that stove and never feel like what it felt like to get burnt. But a lot of people want to go touch that stove. And unfortunately, when we have people in our corner, who egg us on, but this is what, before I get to that, this is what bad company would look like. Yes men, yes women. People that validate your your mistakes and your wickedness. People that don't try and correct you. People that egg you on to do things this not the smartest to do. You know, people who condemn you, people who persecute you, for when your human side show and your flaws show up, and you know, a situation may arise and you may offend them, you know. And people who just genuinely have no regards for other people in general, life, people who are gossipers, people who are slanderers, people who are backbiters. These would be the examples of bad communication, right? You know, if you were around people and they always have something negative to say about somebody, they always think somebody thinking about them. They always think somebody, you know, they just think they bigger than they are, and they always got something negative to say about somebody. You might have to reevaluate your circle. What do good communication look like? People who understand boundaries, your boundaries. People who are willing to correct you and tell you the truth, even when it hurts, but let you know, I'm not condemning you. I'm just telling you because I've been through it, or I understand, right? And I can see it, right? You know, people who speak life, people who do healthy things, such as eating healthy, working out, reading a word, you know, positive affirmations, setting goals, making money legally and in the right ways, right? Inspiring people, all of that type of stuff, you know. People who keep a level head, you know, ain't quick to anger, ain't quick to judgment on people. Under people who take accountability. Ooh, that's one of them. People who take accountability for the actions that they commit. People who can look you in your eyes and tell you, I was wrong. That's what good communication look like. Good company look like. Yeah, man. My last point in this video is going to just be to stress. Hanging around the wrong people always 100% of the time leads to our physical, mental, and spiritual and emotional detriment. It's that deep. The times we live in are serious. God is not playing with us. He's calling us to come together, convene, to love each other. That's why the Bible tells us we should love each other. We should confess our sins to one another. And all of these things, because it's a healing process. We all need healing. We are all, for lack of better terms, fucked up. With that being said, I'm going to leave it there. If you got something from this video, like, comment, subscribe, share it with a friend, and get some good communication, get some good company out there, man. We changing our lives. You know, we pushing forth to change our lives for the Most High God and for Christ's sake, in order to be servants and vessels of his will. With that being said, shalom to y'all.